Tom, let's get straight into Aston Villa then. So booed off at full time. Gerrard appearing to get a share of those boos as well. Is that warranted? Are the fans right to be frustrated at the moment?
Absolutely. The fans have a right to be frustrated whenever they pay their money. But remember, the home fans particularly, they haven't seen back-to-back home wins at Villa since the season before last. So I think that adds to it as well.
Tom, I was going to ask you. Sorry, mate, I was interrupting you. I didn't see all the game, obviously. I watched the highlights, and I take his point. I didn't think there was an awful lot between the sides. I think Villa are a little bit unlucky. Obviously, was it Konsa scored with the ball come back off the crossbar, and then they lose a deflected goal before Nolls. It just seems things aren't going their way at this moment in time.
Absolutely, the game did not deserve a goal. It was dreadful, right? In terms of creativity and chances, it was poor. The middle of the park, that little middle of the park, Villa dominated. He's right. Villa for large spells had the ball, but couldn't make anything happen. He's gone with Danny Ings up front and Ollie Watkins. I ain't sure that works, if I'm truthful. But nevertheless, he was so frustrated at the end of it. But watching that game, it had 0-0 written all over it. So he is right. He's unfortunate to lose that point, lose the 2 or the point at least anyway. But nevertheless, his team are playing in front of 42,000 every home game. They're selling out. They've got a waiting list and around 19,000 people to get on that list. They've got new plans for a new ground. This club is ambitious, and I'm afraid the owners are equally ambitious. Whatever they know or don't know about football, they're ambitious about their team being a winning team. He knows that, Steven Gerrard, and for the first time since I've been speaking to him, and I speak to him every pre-match as well. So that's the first time I've seen that look on his face where it's getting to him, and it's definitely got. He was so frustrated, disappointed, maybe even angry yesterday. He doesn't show it too well. He's got that bit about him where he plays the media ever so well. He works with the media ever so well, but he's definitely not sure where his next move is. I'm absolutely. And remember, Arsenal Wednesday, then Man City at home. It don't get any easier.
These are some of the comments that have come in from the fans. Dom in Birmingham says, "Hi guys, great show. Regarding Villa, it's so predictable. Same subs every week, same patterns of play, nothing changes. 3 wins in 15. Stephen doesn't know his best side. In brackets, that's what pre-season is for. And this season, 3 points from Bournemouth, Everton, Palace and West Ham, with Arsenal and Manchester City next." Are there elements of that you think are true, Tom? Anything in there that you ring true to you?
No, listen, the one thing you have to defend, Laura, is the manager's right to pick the team he wants. If he's next on the block, he's got to pick the team he wants, not the team the fans want or the team the chairman wants. He's got to pick his team. So I get that. And I think sometimes in this country, we talk about don't know your best team. In the modern game with 5 subs and whatever else, is there a best team, or do you pick a team to play a certain day? I'm not so sure these days there is a best team. There might be best positions. And remember, he's been very unfortunate with Diego Carlos, who looks out of the signing, injured. Tyrone Mings taken ill. So he had disruptions late in his build-up and early in his build-up. So, there are circumstances. However, that doesn't matter in terms of the fans when they look at what they saw yesterday. It was a very poor performance, a very poor game, and a lot of those players cost a lot of money.
Tom, you touched on it, mate. You could argue that what would look to have been an attractive start to the season with the opposition, and they haven't done. They've picked up, I think, points against Everton, losing the opening game against Bournemouth, and as you touched on, it is not going to get any easier the next 2 games. You mentioned that Arsenal away, Manchester City at home. You would have to think they're going to have to take something from one of those games.
I wouldn't put my money on it, Ali, if I'm honest with you. But I think we also have to look at the learning curve here for Steven Gerrard. Steven Gerrard, as a player and as a manager, has never been in this position before. This is all new to him, losing. He's having to learn, isn't he? And he's got Gary Mack on the sidelines with him. I don't know how they talk about it or how they overcome it. This is all new to him. But there's no time in football. The fans were very angry at the end of the match yesterday.
Can I ask you something, Tom? Is there a train of thought up the Midlands there amongst the Villa fans that they're actually missing, crazy as it may seem, Michael Beale, who's obviously left to manage QPR?
No, listen, absolutely, because in relative terms, Steven Gerrard's a new manager, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He's been in Scotland, with all due respect, Ali. He's been in Scotland, but the Premier League is totally new to him, not as a player, where all he worried about was him.
Yep.
Now he's got to worry about 20 players or whatever it is. So having that experience left him, that may be a very, very big factor. But Christian Purslow and Steven Gerrard get on very well. Now, they've invested a lot of money in Steven Gerrard, in the team he wanted, and Coutinho was a typical example. I mean, Steven made that very clear, that he'd spoken to him. He wanted him there. So if they've invested that, they're not going to make changes too quickly. That's for sure. So I don't think there's that whatever axe hanging over his head at the moment. Yes. I don't believe that. But you've got to start doing something, because they will not let it go on for too long. And Stephen also made the point, I think, was it this week's pre-match press or the week before, that there is a transitional stage here, that they are bringing in new players. They've got more coming. They needed more than one transfer window to sort that out. And he said even yesterday after the game to me that they're hoping that by Thursday they'll have fresh faces in that squad. And I think looking at that squad yesterday, that's what it needs. Yeah. It needs people in there to give it some sort of lift, because, Ali, you've played the game at the highest level. Losing becomes a habit.
Mm-hmm. Will there be any pressure on Christian Purslow, do you think, at this point?
That's an interesting question. Nobody ever meets him in the media, to be fair. We see him on the touchline talking to the manager, but nobody ever meets him. I'm not sure. I don't know his relationship with the two owners. But those owners are billionaires. They've invested in a club. They want to be successful. They haven't said win the Premier League or win the Champions League, but what they've said is they want the team to improve year on year and to be in a position. And at the moment, it doesn't look like that's happening. So Christian Purslow under pressure? I don't know. He's brought in Steven Gerrard. So I don't know. I really do not know what the owners are thinking. All I know is that how Steven Gerrard was yesterday. He was. You could see he's holding it in. Mm-hmm. He wanted to say more, I think. And remember, he's pointing the finger straight at his players, by the way. Mm-hmm. They're the people that have got to do this. They're the people he prepares them properly. They prepare every single day. Once they cross over that white line, he looks at what they're doing. It must be frustrating for him as well.
Tom, thank you very much. It's lovely to have you on.
Thanks, Tom. Great to talk, mate.
Look, guys, take care.
Enjoy the rest of your bank holiday Monday as well. Tom Ross there, talkSPORT's Midlands correspondent. Villa Vans, we do want to hear from you this morning. 3 wins from the last 15 Premier League games. What's going wrong at the club and how do you fix it? 03717 22 3344. You can come on this morning and have your say on talkSPORT Breakfast, 7:18.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods. Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.